Okay, new video. We don't really do intros. I'm just gonna jump straight into it. The video is it's gonna be kind of all over the place. It's gonna be a yab sesh. If you're here for gameplay, this isn't the place right now. I'm just gonna give you an idea that you can apply to everything in the game, and it will answer all of your questions so long as you look at the game through the optics that I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a big pair of glasses. You're going to put them over your big nerdy head, and you're going to think. That should scare all of the fake-ass gamers away. So if you're ready to learn and get better, this is the video for you, but it's going to be super informative. I'm just going to break down how a nerd looks at the game. I get asked these questions all the time in the Twitch chat, in the YouTube chat, and the overarching theme that I'm seeing is people do not think anymore. The amount of times I've been asked, like, what weapon slot do you put your skills on? Do you put them on 1 or 2? And it's like, in the event that you understood the character, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. It's like asking where the steering wheel is when you sit in a fucking car. I can't curse. Fuck. Okay. No more cursing in the intro, or it gets demonetized. And then we're making videos for no reason. I'm kidding. But, yeah, I'm going to break down a couple mechanics, and you guys are going to start to see what it is I'm talking about. We're going to take something like ritual, okay? I get asked questions about ritual. Is ritual profitable? Should I be running ritual? And they're looking for a simple answer, but the content isn't simple, right? What is ritual on the map? How do you profit from ritual on the map? Okay, there's a ritual. You stand in the ritual, you kill monsters. The more monsters you kill, the more tribute you get. The more tribute you get, the more purchasing power you have within a ritual window. Okay, super simple. Already off the back of that, what can we think about? Okay, if we get more tribute from killing monsters in the ritual, then it's probably good to kill more monsters in the ritual, right? I think we can all agree. Usually this is like a Q&A session, because we're on stream, and people go, yes, you get more stuff. But let's be even more straightforward. More monsters equals more ritual favor. More ritual favor means you can purchase more things from the ritual window. What things are good in the ritual window? The top leftmost items. Why are they priced how they are priced? The top left item in your ritual window is the most expensive because the game gives it this arbitrary value. Okay? If you've got a Audience of the King in the top left of the window, it's going to be between 2,000 and 4,000. Okay? The more monsters you kill, the more purchasing power you have. How do we scale how many monsters we get? Pack size. How do we get pack size? Waystones, precursor tablets. Bam! You've already used 2 layers of abstraction to view ritual. You know how to increase your chance of getting good things in ritual. And then, when we're approaching ritual from I'm looking to make currency playing this content, how can we further that? All we should be looking at when we're trying to run ritual, because it doesn't benefit from rarity, it doesn't benefit from anything in your in your waystone, it doesn't benefit from anything in your precursors. The only thing that matters is seeing ritual windows. So in the event that you're trying to farm ritual, right? What are we trying to do? See as many windows as possible. And that means we're trying to reroll. So then we can immediately look at the atlas and say, is there a way to see more windows? This one right here, 4 ritual altars. 4 ritual altars gives you more ritual favor because you're spawning in monsters in extra time. This one right here, skills from ritual altars deal extra damage, we don't care. Favors diverted ritual altars in your maps reappear sooner. So in the event that you find something good, you can find it sooner after you've deferred it a single time. Usually you can just re-roll the next page, immediately benefit from it. This one right here, ritual altars in your maps allow re-rolling favors an additional time. That's what we want, right? The ritual favor re-roll is a certain amount of ritual favor every time. You're just seeing more screens more often. You're seeing more screens. Okay, and then this one you see omens more often. Omens are really valuable. Okay. Super straightforward. Now, obviously the objective of Ritual, see as many windows as possible. That means get Ritual on all of your maps if you can. Super straightforward. Breach, super straightforward. Breach, monster density, monster pack size, increased rare monsters. Breach is just extra monsters in the map. Same with Simulacrum, Delirium, whatever you want to call it. You walk through that mirror, more pack size equals more monsters equals more drops. Super straightforward. You should know how to scale those. Pack size, increased rare monsters, increased magic monsters are going to give you XP. All of these things you can think about in an abstract way and better understand them. Instead of just asking the question, what makes this good? Think about it. 2 seconds, think about it. 1, 2 layers deep. Think about how you can do it even better. Straightforward. Okay. Now we'll look at something like Ultimatum. We talk about Ultimatum pretty often. If you don't know what this is used for, it's used in the Trial of Chaos. In the Trial of Chaos, every 3.33 floors, it's 10 floors. Every 3.33 floors, if you look at the whole run, you're going to get a soul core. Some of the soul cores are good, some of the soul cores are worth nothing. At the end of the day, you can liquidate them to Alva for an immediate realized gain. You don't have to rely on anybody to buy it, okay? What are the prerequisites for an Ultimatum? Well, you need an Ultimatum. How do you get a area level 80 Ultimatum? You run maps. You drop them all the time. You can buy them off trade. That takes time. You should have a bunch of these if you play the video game. If you're dabbling in all sorts of content, you should drop these all the time. Make sure they're in your loot filter. Straightforward, super simple. What are the prerequisites to run something like this? You need a character that doesn't die. You need to be able to kill 3 bosses. And if you're looking to kill the Trial Master at the end, which can drop a Chase Unique of an Adorned, you need to be able to kill the last boss. Do you need to be able to do these fast? No. Do you need a fast character? No. Do you need a strong character? Kinda. Not really. Kinda. Requirement is like almost nothing. For most people in the game, this is going to be your most consistent currency. It doesn't require you to juice maps. There's no downtime. It doesn't require you to go find like 4 tower, 3 tower overlap right here with a corrupted area. It doesn't require you to do anything outside of just playing the game, dropping these, running these. Super straightforward, brain dead easy. It's going to print you currency. For most people in the game, this is going to be the best currency you make. I use the term best loosely. In the event that you have the strongest character in the game, money isn't an object, and you're still trying to print currency for some reason, you can make arguments that there is better content in the game that will make you more currency for your hour played. But we're going to delve into what makes viewing divine per hour, what is flawed with the question. The line of questioning is flawed. People ask, how many divine per hour does this content make? And they're talking about maps. Well, it really varies, doesn't it? Because if we open up Microsoft Paint here, and we really break it down, people neglect, enjoy that flashbang, people neglect to mention, I don't know if it's deliberate, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. This is going to be your timeline, okay? Whenever you see red, this is when you're not making currency. And then this is when you are making currency. And then you're back on your grind. Bang, bang, bang. Here we go. Let's say you get lucky here. Boom, boom. Look at this. This is just beautiful, isn't it? Look how easy this is. It's like a lecture. You guys are you're in school right now. It's PoE school. Alright. So this red area, we're just going to call this setup. Okay, what is setup? You get your precursor tablets. You get all this going. You find your overlap. All of this takes time. Finding this 3 tower overlap that's like kind of a 4 tower overlap where like some of these maps will be good here. It happens to be next to a citadel as well. This takes forever. It takes an eternity. That's like everyone's #1 complaint with the game. That's 2 tower. That's 2 tower with a citadel. This is a 3 tower zone right here. That looks like a tower. It's actually a mountain. That takes time, okay? It takes time, and that sucks. Where's paint? Right here. Bang. This is in the event that your maps are actually juiced, okay? This means that you got your precursors all good to go. You're up and running, and you're just excited to run your maps. What is inside this? 3 letters. RNG. Okay? RNG. RNG. All of these are the same thing. Same thing, RNG. Once you get your maps ready, what are you relying on to make your currency? RNG. You're relying on T5 items. Okay? You're relying on raw currency. Like, you're relying on all of these things to drop in the event that your maps are actually juiced. So you did all of this setting up to try and ensure currency. But what are you relying on? RNG. 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 Your rarity on your character. RNG. The rarity on your waystone. RNG. The quantity. RNG. Everything is RNG. The only variables that you can control for are RNG related. Everything that you can control for is RNG. All of it is random, random, random. Same thing with Trial of Sekhema, right? All of this downtime that you could use for setting up, you could try to optimize this, right? We'll add a blue line here, and this blue line will be in the midst of you setting up your towers, trying to get them good to go. You're running like ritual maps, right? So let's say we go back here, and this tower is really just trying to get us to a 4-tower setup over here. You slap a ritual tablet in this, you run rituals on the way. So for this little blue line, we'll say that we're running like unjuiced ritual for these, right? And in the little intermezzo, we might pick up this citadel, and we'll use our silly precursor tablet on it that lets us run these over and over, right? The what's it called? Visions of Paradise. Let's say we slam a Visions of Paradise, a ritual tablet in here. We run this, we run it again. Maybe you've got a second tower to radiate it twice. And in the midst of your setup, when you're pathing to your 4 towers in maps, you're going out of your way to do ritual plus citadel farm, right? Like, that's best case scenario, assuming you even know how to do these things. Most of you are burgers. There's nothing wrong with being a burger. Eventually you won't be a burger. You'll be the chef, okay? You'll be cooking. But all of these things are RNG. And that's what you're relying on to make your currency for certain content. Maps, as far as anybody is concerned, are completely random. You can be in a 6-stack with a rarity bot, following him around, sticking to his hip. At the end of the day, you're going to take all those gains that you got with his 400% rarity character, and you're going to divide it by 6, and you're going to walk away with your RNG gains. And funny enough, if you've got 6 people with 6 atlases all cooking at the same time, the setup part is it's not so much, right? Maybe the 6 of you, your graph will look something like this. This is your timeline. Maybe because 6 people are looking for 4-tower setups and somebody's not in the party at any given moment, you guys are in the game, playing the game more often. So your little green sections of RNG are more frequent, right? Per hour, let's say. At the end of the day, you're relying on RNG. There's content in the game that does not rely on RNG in the same ways. There is a variance that exists in all of the content. Every time you run 10 Trial of Chaos runs, you're not guaranteed the same currency. Obviously, it's got its low ends, but certain things have a more consistent cash flow, right? A good example of inconsistent money with an incredibly high top end, so the likelihood that you make a lot of currency is very low, but in other content is impossible, would be like Trial of Sekhema, right? Trial of Sekhema, we went over what you required in Trial of Chaos, very few things, right? Trial of Sekhema, what do you need? Okay, the content takes significantly longer. Let's just get that out of the way. Irrespective of how fast your character is, you can just get shit RNG and your runs are slow, okay? So these are the things that before you even run them need to be true. You need relics, you need a fast character, you need to avoid bad rooms, which means afflictions and slow rooms that are going to waste your time. You need to pick up keys along the way. You need to be able to kill all of the bosses, and your character needs to be like grief proof. So in the event that you get something like minus evasion, your character isn't totally bricked and you have to rerun, because then it's horrible. You can't be dying, because if you're dying then you're just wasting time, right? For the average player, these are going to take you 20 minutes. right? If you're an absolute freak nerd with a character that is hyper specifically designed to play this content, you can narrow them down to like 11-minute average, right? Unless you're a super freak and you have every floor memorized, like, this isn't content that I can recommend to the majority of players, right? Because you can go 8 hours of like just getting as many jewels as you can, and you're doing Against the Darkness runs, and you can make jack shit. You can literally make nothing and wasted your time. And then in the event that you'd been running RNG maps or inscribed ultimatums, you guaranteed would have made more money. Like the bottom of Sekhema is really bad. It's really bad. But the ceiling is really high. So the likelihood that you make a lot of currency is always there. The likelihood that you make stable currency, it's woo-wah. No one can prove it. It's a coin flip. Somebody can say, this is what I made in 20 runs. Somebody else can say, this is what I made in 20 runs. Their numbers could not be further from each other, right? And when we're looking to profit from something like this, we have to actually understand what is making us currency from the Sekhema run. The main thing is jewels, right? Jewels and Against the Darkness, diamonds, right? Then we have to look at, okay, how many players are using Against the Darkness? How many players have Against the Darkness equipped on their character? Let's go take a look. I'm pretty sure it's around 11%. Okay, 11% of players are using an Against the Darkness. Does that mean that they're good Against the Darknesses that are worth money? No, not necessarily. This is just in the league that we're in, 11% of players have it equipped. Okay, and then we go to our Steam charts here, and we look at our market. How many people are we potentially selling to? Go to Path of Exile 2, and we're going to be generous with our numbers here. We're going to look at the 24-hour peak. The 24-hour peak for just Steam, this doesn't include the client, and it doesn't include Xbox and PlayStation, right? We're just going to multiply this number by 3, and we're going to say that it's 90,000 players, right? 90,000 players. Of the 90,000 players, this website that's showing you what players have equipped is only people not level 97 or higher, right? So they're level 96s, level 95s, level 94s that also have Against the Darkness. What are the odds that you drop in Against the Darkness that you can sell to these people? What are the odds that you get a good enough one to justify somebody that's in this, 11 in 100 players is going to buy that? Do you like your odds? Also, you have to be online at the same time as your purchaser. Unless your account is just Janubu and you're permanently online forever and ever and ever, you are getting, in the event that you turn your game off, somebody that had the exact same Against the Darkness as you is getting their item sold and you're not, right? So you got to look into how often you're going to be online, how often can you sell these things. Even if you got the best one in the game, say you get, like Farmer recently, he dropped what looks to be, according to him in his chat, 700 Divine Against the Darkness, right? I think it was a 5% extra Lightning with 10 Spirit. How many people are in the market for that exact Against the Darkness? Maybe 20 players. How many of those 20 players can actually afford that before he slashes the price to get it sold? And you got to be online at the same time as that guy, and he's got to be ready to buy your stuff, right? It's not like these are flying off the shelves. If you look at how many are actually on trade that are over a certain price to justify you running the content, we're just going to go here. We're going to type in Against the Darkness. People also call these ATDs. I could probably just call them ATDs to save time. The minimum floor that people are buying them on to reforge are 2 Divine. And where's Divine at? Bang, we're going to go here, and we're going to put the minimum at 10. So there's a lot. Okay, how many of these are ever going to sell? Lord knows. And that's on the offline. We're going to look at online. We've got 662. Okay, how many of these are worth 50 or more? Got 155. How many of these are actually going to sell? It is impossible to calculate. Like this guy right here at 50 has been sitting here for 7 days. Half these people don't know how to price. Half these people have one that nobody wants. Nobody's going to buy this Dex one if they can find one that's got 5 Dex. Nobody's going to buy this Cold Res one if they don't need Cold Res. This guy can only sell to a third of the people that might be looking to get one of these because not everybody wants Cold Res. Some people want Lightning. Some people want Fire. This shit's never going to sell for 50. Right? And this guy's going to have to slash his price over and over and over. This one looks pretty good, but somebody can find one with 4% int because this guy's going to get undercut. Like, none of these prices are real. They're all arbitrary. You are praying that somebody is buying your shit. So you realize that all of your gains for this trial of Sekhema reliance on other players. It's reliant on other human beings to put currency in your tab from their tab, right? And in the event that the game isn't as popular as it once was, or people are blasting the hell out of this content and you've got 50,000 people you're competing with, it's not actually 50k, I'm over exaggerating. Let's say there's like 150 players that are flooding the markets with ATDs all day. And then you got to look at how many people are losing currency running these, because the Desperate Alliance face is like 2-3 div, right? So every time you run one of these and you get something horrible, the ATD, in the event that you can sell it for what you paid for, with the Desperate Alliance face relic, will pay for it. Will pay for itself, right? And then you've got your regular jewels and your time lost jewels. Every now and then, we can just look at my tabs. You can sell one of these for a divine. Anywhere there's a hole, that means we sold it. None of these sold. Then we'll drop the price. Then we'll drop the price. 5 chaos, 6 chaos. The majority of these are selling at 5 chaos. I'll just keep it a buck. The majority are selling at 5 chaos. We're too lazy to even go through these anymore. Sometimes they sell for 10. And somebody has to be online to buy them, right? So you might as well just have a bunch of stash tabs. And then we get into, okay, in the event that your character is strong enough to do it, and you get lucky, and you're above the rate, and if, it's all hypotheticals, you have to be online for people to buy your shit, right? So this is cool in the event that you're the lucky guy that can play 10 hours a day and just farm and print money, right? And it's probably the most dick road content in the game, but is it good? I don't know. It's up to you. You should be able to answer that question yourself. I'm not even going to give you the answer. And then we look at things like Simulacrum. How do you profit from Simulacrum? Well, there are some decent, whatever these are called, emotions that you can drop. These are good. You get a lot of tiered rares, right? But the problem with tiered rares is tiered rares like these are all decent enough items that somebody will buy. You just have to be online in the event that they will buy them. Someone has to be in the market for your item while you're online trying to sell it, so your game has to be open all the time. And yeah, obviously the tiered items could be horrible when you roll them and slam them. You can get a megalo, maybe. You get lucky, you get a megalo that somebody will buy. It's another like very small market with very few purchasers. Like, how many people are in the market for Anticipation Frenetic? Maybe everybody that plays my build. How many people are playing my build? Maybe 250 players. Like, if you get something like Subterfuge Mask that is at minimum selling for 50 div, great. You were really lucky. You were like in a percentile that is immeasurable, right? Because the drop rate for these is like 8%. So on the 15th floor is the only time you can get these in a tier 4. It's 8%. So not only did you get 8% just to drop the item to begin with, it's also any combination of two notables in the game. So it could have been Fated End and Impending Doom. It could have been Far-Sighted, Nearsighted. If we just type in notable, maybe they show up. The Megalo is a combination of all of these. You will get between 2 and 3 of all of these. All of these can roll in a Megalo, right? So in the event that you get a good Megalo, congratulations, you're lucky. You can't actually make a claim that it's good currency just off of the Megalo drop, right? The flasks that drop there aren't good anymore. So it's just a way to view the content. You can view everything through these optics. You just take something, you read it, and you extrapolate on the point. Okay, we're looking at this right now. Damage penetrates 12% of elemental resistances. In the event that they have an elemental resistance, your damage is going to penetrate 12% of it. That's amazing, right? What happens when they don't have elemental resistances? This literally does nothing, okay? Awesome. Now we figured that out. You can determine whether or not you want that relative to what kind of content you run. If you're blasting maps all day, you don't need Elipen. It's literally useless. Half these monsters don't have Elipen or Eli resistances, so you have no resistances to penetrate, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we think, okay, well, if we wanted to benefit from like exploiting monster resistances, how could we do that? In the event that they don't have any resistances, what can we do? Well, you've got exposure. Exposure can lower resistance, so a hit that would have hit for 100,000 that would have been negated by Eli res. In the event that they don't have Eli res, you inflict exposure, and 100k of your damage will turn into 112k, if depending on how much exposure you have, right? And if we think about pen in another way, like, okay, instead of penetrating what resistance they do have, because this is specific to your character, your damage penetrates that resistances. People look at ways to lower resistances, and then you've got your curses, right? And curses will take a monster's resistance of 50 and say lower it by 44% or 36%. And now the remaining, say you lowered it by fixed amount, whatever the remainder is, say it's 10% left over, you're now penetrating through 12% of the 10%, right? So you gotta think. Big number, you penetrate a lot. You lower the res, you benefit less from melee pen, right? That's one mechanic that you can think of with a couple layers of abstraction. You can take two little points, two little caveats, and just like go on a thought route. You go on a thought route, you follow it to an end, and you make all of your decisions off of that. This is how you start thinking about the game so that you don't have to be told what to do. You don't have to go somewhere and ask somebody a question. You can just look at it and figure it out, right? We'll take something else like this node right here, right? Preemptive Strike. 100% increased critical damage bonus against enemies that are on full life. Okay, you figure out what full life is, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We don't have to really get into that one. But it's like, damn, that's a lot of crit damage bonus. How often are enemies on full life? Well, if you've got any source of ignite and you've done any damage to them before that, they're not going to be on full life anymore. If you've got any source of poison, they're not going to be on full life anymore. If you have anything dealing damage outside of your character, like minions, they're not going to be on full life anymore. So pretty quickly you see that like certain conditional damage nodes like this maybe aren't as good, because how often do you actually get to benefit from this extra critical damage bonus? When you've got all of these different ways that you're dealing damage, you realize that it's not that often that you get to deal with that. Like, I've got Flame Wall and a cast on crit. If a monster walks over this, they're not at full life anymore, so they're not going to benefit from that. Or maybe my Herald of Ice explosion caught a monster and hit him for half of his health. That monster no longer going to be hit anymore. And you're thinking like, okay, in the event that my character does a ton of damage already, and all of these monsters we're never even getting to benefit from Preemptive Strike, when do we get to benefit from, when would we like to? Maybe in a single target environment. And then you got to ask yourself, how often is my boss that I'm hitting on full life, right? Maybe the first time you walk into a boss room, you can benefit from your Preemptive Strike. But for the remainder of your boss fight, do you get to benefit from this? No. So, is it any good? No. It's horrible, right? You can quickly realize that these things absolutely suck, okay? And this whole tree is a minigame. This entire tree is a minigame of power per point. What is the most power I can get per point? And once you realize that, you can easily find what are the best nodes in the game. Maybe the ones that are customizable, where you can put in whatever you like. Let's compare this jewel socket to any single node in the game. Is there any single node in the game that's going to give you anywhere near 18% increased max energy shield, 12% increased crit chance, 20% increased critical damage bonus, and 10% cold pen with an extra 5 int on top? Probably fucking not. Like, if we look at this one over here, this one gives you a lot of crit chance, but do you get anything else? No. You do get the ones that you pathed on the way to. Like, let's say we added this whole wheel together. Is this whole wheel and this node and the subsequent ones that led up to it better than my jewel? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So if you're going out of your way to pick up nodes that sound good, ask yourself, how many points did I spend to get over there? You look at where I place this, and it makes sense where this is placed, right? Because we get to benefit from notables. I have 2 mods here that benefit from notable passive skills. We look at how many notables are. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of these were benefiting by getting crit hit chance and crit damage bonus. And then all these little ones were benefiting from extra projectile damage, right? We do projectile damage, so that's nice. Like, all of these things you are capable of thinking of. You just got to slow it down and read a little bit. And you can apply this logic to everything. How do you benefit from King of the Mist runs? What are the chase uniques in King of the Mist? Are they even good? How often is a From Nothing going to make me currency? Is it a good use of my time? Is my character efficient at killing the boss? How much time do I want to spend in a logbook? Logbooks typically don't have a lot of monsters, so we're removing an element of the game that is killing monsters to drop gear. Am I content with doing that considering my character has all this rarity? How often is it a lush isle? How often do I have to interact with trade to buy these? Like, all of these are questions that you have to ask yourself before you make a decision on what content you want to run. And it's all straightforward. The answer lies in the question. The answer lies in the question. It's the same thing if you want to upgrade your gear. You look at your gear set and you say, what is my worst piece of gear? How easily can I upgrade it? There is a way to optimize how you have your resistances on your gear to save currency, right? You ask yourself, what are the best items in the game right now? It doesn't matter how good you are at the game, how knowledgeable you are, how many hours you have. Eventually, you're going to realize that the most powerful items in the game start with the weapons, because the weapons do all of the killing, and you can trivialize the whole game with the weapons. And then we look at other slots like the amulet, and you realize that the amulet has so many roles, but of the roles, it's like the most powerful item because it is so customizable, right? And then we say, okay, rings are pretty damn good too, because rings in a way are like extra weapon damage, right? And they can fill in gaps. So we look at things like ammies and rings and we're like, these are gap fillers. These like make up the bulk of your character, right? And then we look at chest pieces. This is the best defensive option, by the way. Like, if you couldn't tell, that's why they're so damn expensive. You can get all these suffixes, which give you all these reses, and then they give you a bunch of defenses, right? Your energy shield, your evasion, and your armor. It's coming from your chest piece. And then you're like, damn, helmets are pretty damn good too. You can get a lot of defenses on helmets as well. And then it's like, okay, how can I benefit from the helmets being like the second best defensive option? And you see nodes like this, and you're like, okay, 2 evasion rating per 1 max energy shield. Maybe if I just get a bunch of energy shield, then I can turn this helmet into a chest piece, right? This helmet is basically a hybrid chest piece that has double whatever this energy shield is in evasion, right? And that's with 1 node on the tree. Maybe that's something worth anointing. Instead of going for a node over here that gives you like crit damage. You can get crit damage from 50 different sources. Why would you take Overwhelming Strike over something like Subterfuge Mask in the long run, right? Because if we look at all of this gameplay is centered around you interacting with the game and you making currency and you having fun and you dropping cool items, and the gameplay loop for everybody is different, right? And if you're fucking dead, you're not playing the game. You're not playing the game, you're not making currency when you're dead. In fact, you wasted a ton of time. You wasted whatever waystone you put in your map. You wasted time juicing it because you died in that map. Oh, tough shit, dude. And how do you not die in your maps? You work on your defenses. You don't neglect them. And then we say, damn, gloves are pretty good too. The only issue with gloves is you can't scale the quality like you can on rings. So glove rolls will the top end prefix rolls will never be as strong as ring rolls, even though like this can only ever be 16 to 24 fizz. Like these already with the attack modifier catalyst, you can scale the hell out of your fizz, right? Like it's straightforward and you know it, but you don't know that you know it because you're worried about other shit. You're worried about your build guide, or you're worried about what like a content creator told you to run. You do not have to be told what to do. Attack speed is a good mod. Crit damage bonus on gloves is a good mod. Gain mana per enemy killed is build enabling. If you get it on your gloves, that means you don't have to get this suffix on your rings, right? Because you don't want to get it on your rings. You want to get reses and rarity on your rings because you want reses and rarity. And if you went out of your way to get reses on this, then you instead lose out on potentially good rolls for your ring, right? And the issue is that you can scale rings really hard and you can't scale gloves really hard. There's just no way to put a multiplier on what your gloves have. You can scale rings with Ingenuity. You can scale rings with Mystic Attunement. You can scale amulets with Mystic Attunement. You can't scale your gloves. So there's just an optimal way to solve for all these problems, and all you have to do is think about it. Chaos res is incredibly hard to come by. You can get it on gloves, boots, chest, helmet, rings, and amulets, right? If you want to get this on an amulet, you are spending so much money it would make you sick. I don't even know if you can get it on amulets, because I wouldn't even get it on amulets if it was an option. It's not going to be affordable. Your brain should immediately just rule that out as a horrible waste of time. Horrible waste of currency. Imagine you get it on your gloves. Those gloves are going to be expensive. Boots you can get away with because a lot of people happen to craft boots. But you can get it on this chest. And if you get it on a chaos res base, then you can probably save a little bit of money if you get it on the implicit chaos chest base, and you can get a lower roll for an affordable amount. If you try to get it on a ring, GG, buddy. If you want to get it on a ring, have fun spending all of your currency. Nobody can tell you how to spend your money. It's your video game after all. But yeah, hopefully this video or these talking points have like opened your eyes just a little bit, you don't have to ask simple questions. All you gotta do is think about it. We'll just come full circle with the original thing we mentioned. If I've got a weapon swap, and my second weapon swap is purely for attack speed, and it's helping me move around the map, in what world would I want my second weapon swap that does no damage to have Herald of Ice enabled? If Herald of Ice on my main weapon, which is where all of my damage comes from, if you just read the top line of Sacred Flame, gain 71% of damage as extra fire damage, and then you read the critical hit chance line on your Tangled Tongue, and you understand even a shred of how these items interact with your video game, you would know that the second you swap to your second weapon that has none of that, with no offhand that deals any damage, your damage is going to plummet. Why would you ever have your Herald of Ice on weapon slot 2? Why? Why would you want this to proc when you have your second weapon slot out? Ever, under any circumstance. You're just wasting spirit. Why? It does 13,000 damage. And now it does 108,000 damage. Like, it's straightforward. Combat Frenzy, you can have on both. Because how Combat Frenzy works, in the event that you freeze Electrocute or Pin, you can get a Frenzy Charge. You can't get them that often, but if it happens, you can get them. Can you freeze with your second weapon slot? Yes. Can you electrocute with your second weapon slot? Probably not if you don't have a way to apply the electrocute, because we're doing it with our Herald. People ask me all the time, is Herald of Thunder better than Wind Dancer? And it's like asking me if hot dogs are better than basketball. Like, the two things have nothing to do with each other. They are accomplishing totally different goals. Somebody in the chat is going to be like, bro, hot dogs are way better than basketball. Just think about it, bro. And you're supposed to, like, compare these two things. This isn't apples and oranges. Herald of Thunder does damage and can apply Electrocute or Freeze, depending on how you scale it, right? And Wind Dancer gives you evasion, so your likelihood of dodging an attack is higher. I don't know, dude. Whatever you prefer. Like, if you're getting hit all the time, maybe you want basketball, and if you want to do more damage, maybe you want hot dogs, bro. There's a way to view it. People ask me why I have Blink in the build, because the better you are at the game, the better Blink is. It stops you from dying. Blink is arguably the best skill in the game. People ask, why do you use the Companion? The Companion seems like a waste of points. It's also using a lot of Spirit. Well, for the amount of Spirit that the Companion's using, which is, what, 83 down to 11, it's like 70 Spirit for a permanent Haste Aura, and you get to use Inspiring Ally, which is the best node in the game. I don't have to get into why Inspiring Ally is so good, but you can go get Companion damage on Emeralds. Let's just say that. And yeah, you can get like 150% increased damage from one notable with 4 points leading up to it and like some Emeralds, bro. It's disgustingly overpowered. And you get to benefit from having like something like a Haste Aura or an extra Fizz Aura or whatever you decide to put on your Companion. And you did all of that for 70 Spirit. And someone's like, okay, well, why not just use Trinity? Well, Trinity's 100 Spirit, isn't it? And you have to balance all of your 3 elements to benefit from Trinity. So you don't always have the damage, do you? Right? Super straightforward. Immediately you can just rule it out as for the amount of Spirit it's using, it's not as good. And then someone will say, okay, if I want to get rid of the boar, what's the next best option? Well, now that you know how to think about the game, I don't have to answer that question. You can look at it yourself. You can look at what your options are with your Spirit and say, what value am I getting per Spirit point? Wind Dancer for 30 Spirit is pretty damn good, right? Combat Frenzy for 30 Spirit might be the best use of 30 Spirit in the video game, right? Herald of Ice for however much Spirit this is, don't know, don't even care. Pretty damn good. It explodes your entire screen. Cast on Crit is build enabling. Like, these things are straightforward. They're straightforward. They're straightforward. They're straightforward. Your support gem choices should be straightforward. Ask yourself, does this sound good? Martial tempo on the movement skill is probably good, right? Because it makes you move quicker. Rage, in the event that your melee skill hits a pack of monsters, is probably good because it makes you deal more damage. Font of Mana is probably good because it makes the skill pay for itself. And Font of Rage is probably good because I'm just stacking Rage for as long as I'm in the Whirlwind, and I'm in the Whirlwind all the time. The skill is persistent. Font of Rage is a no-brainer. The same thing goes for the rest of your support skills. If they sound good, they're good. Are there better alternatives than the ones that you put in your skill? Maybe. Is it because you're lazy that you didn't find them? Maybe. My support gems could probably be replaced. Is my character good enough for these things not to matter? Yes. So, ultimately, these don't matter. Also, just another tidbit to wrap up the video because we've been yapping for a pretty long time. You can look at things. You should view terms like budget and feel a sickness in your stomach, right? Everybody is trying to swap to the next best thing, but they're not trying to invest any time in understanding how any of these things work, and they're trying to swap into this new build for a budget. Budget, budget, budget. It's this word that you hear all the time, and it should make you sick. People don't have hours to play the game because of life and obligations, family, job, all these things. Makes perfect sense. Why are you thinking like a peasant? In the event that you can only play 4 hours a day, why are you viewing the game through budget optics? You should be looking to make those 4 hours the most optimal. All you have to do is a little bit of research, a little bit of homework, and instead of thinking budget, 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 how can I get this build online for 8 divine? And then you spend 3 hours of your 4-hour play session on your Saturday off work, like haggling people with the fucking trade website, when you could have just been blasting and you could say, fuck budget, I'm thinking like a peasant, it's time to lock the fuck in, and I'm going to view the game through the optics of billionaire. I'm going to launch this game every day, and I'm going to set my goal for 150 div. And if I walk away with 20, I made more than the guy that's thinking budget, budget, budget. Something to sit with. We've mentioned that in a previous video a long time ago. We've got new viewers. I kept that one in for the end of the video for the real ones. Don't think budget, bro. Think, I want to have the best version of every character so that I can have the most fun. Because the stronger you are in an ARPG, the more trivial the game becomes, the more fun you have. You can experience all of the content in the game because your character's strong as shit. And when you're looking through the budget optics, you're cheating yourself out of all of the fun you could have had if you just went and learned a little bit and stacked a little bit of div up and just bought good fucking gear, bro. You don't want to go into your currency tab and say, ah, dude, 3 divine? How am I going to chop up 3 divine to replace my entire gear set? And I gotta wait for my old items to sell before I can switch to this new build? Do you think at 340 div I give a single fuck what an item costs in the game anymore? No. How hard is it to run up 340 div? I don't know. Let's look at our time played. We've played 24 hours this league, 10 hours, 1 minute, 51 seconds. The last 40 minutes of this have been fucking yapping about the video game to help you learn. My currency that's been dumped into this character is astronomical. I don't even have figures for it anymore. And some of these items, because of my knowledge of the game, I bought for dirt cheap. My amulet I got for 4 divine because I understand the game. And you can say, luck, bro. It's all luck, bro. You're just lucky, bro. Or I just know shit that you don't and I'm looking in places that you aren't. You can think with the, it's all luck, bro. Streamers are all RMTing, bro. Everybody's a fucking cheater because when I get on the game, I don't make any fucking currency. Is it that everybody is cheating or is it that you are brain dead? Strip it down to its most basic. What, Occam's razor this, what is more likely, that you don't know very much about the game or that everybody is a fucking cheater? Super simple. Hopefully this, we came off a little, we're kind of foot on neck a little bit in this video, but I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Genuinely, there's no reason you shouldn't be having fun every time you get on the game. We're sticking it out for this next update. We just figured, all the videos have already been made on the game. We're waiting for the update. Throw on a little yap session. 45-minute video. Jesus Christ. I don't know how many of you are going to watch all of this. But, yeah, all of these things can be thought about with 2 or 3 layers of abstraction. And I understand that everybody's got a life to live. We've all got different stressors. We've all got, we all have different stress responses dealing with different shit in life. It should be fun. Learning should be fun. There should come a time in your life where you realize that you haven't learned anything in a while. And why not make a video game the thing that you learn about? These are fucking sick. We've been playing these our entire lives. I'm not trying to give you some fucking motivational speech or anything like that, but like, of all the things you could spend time learning, maybe like the hobby that you've been participating in since you were a fucking child would be one where you would think putting a little bit of energy into it would be cool or fun or interesting. But yeah, look at these things. If you ever have a question that you're considering asking somebody else, see if you can think it to an end. Think it to a logic route that comes to a conclusion. And then run it by somebody and just cross-reference what they might think about it. That's when you go to the streamer about something. You should already have an idea of what the answer is before you ask a question to a streamer, before you drop a comment in a comment section. And yeah, don't be self-righteous in your own stupidity. We're all students. We're all learning shit. Half the thing I said in this video could be wrong by a margin of 10%. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you're going to get on, and with the rest of your knowledge of the game, you're going to fucking print. And there is no greater teacher than experience. You don't need to be told how to play the video game that you bought, okay? I'm just trying to give you an alternate way to view the game so you can have more fun. But hope you guys enjoyed the Yab session. Yeah, have fun, motherfuckers. We got a new update around the corner. Looking forward to that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Most of you probably had this in the background while you were gaming, but thank you guys so much for the support on everything. I don't want to get full streamer on your ass, full content creator, but real shit, genuinely appreciate all the support, all the love. It's been a fucking blessing being able to do this, and I'm happy that you guys tune in. And yeah, we're going to continue having fun, and stay positive, motherfuckers. But yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day or night. Later.